Can you increase the allowance? $3 a month isn't enough to live on. When I answered the call from my son, who lives alone and is a college student, he said something I hadn't anticipated at all.
What? $3 a month?
My voice flipped in surprise. What on earth was going on? I was certain I had been depositing $1,000 into my son's account every month. As I was confused, my son added more shocking news. I didn't want to tell you this since you got laid off, Mom, but it's really tough living on just $3 a month.
What? Laid off?
I work hard as a nurse, and even now, I'm just off a night shift. I haven't been laid off. To grasp the situation, I hurried to my son's apartment. Ringing the entrance doorbell, my son greeted me, but he looked thin and pale. He seemed to be cutting back significantly, not even using the heater in this cold. To save on electricity, I've been getting by with just a blanket. I've been desperately working part-time jobs, but with university studies and being busy every day, I thought I reached my limit and called you, Mom. When he showed me his bank book, indeed, only $3 had been deposited every month. I'm sorry for everything up to now, but I definitely transferred $1,000. How could this happen? For now, I'll go withdraw some money from the nearby ATM, I said. I quickly withdrew money from the ATM nearby and handed it to my son.
Is it okay to give me so much? Thank you, Mom. I didn't want to worry you, so I always acted cheerful whenever you called. But I'm glad I told you the truth today.
My heart ached for my son's bravery. It made no sense for something like this to happen. Could it be? I harbored a suspicion and told my son, I'll bring the money in person from next month until we figure out the cause. After I started handing the allowance to my son in person, my husband confronted me with a demonic expression.
Hey! Today's the day for the son's allowance, isn't it? Haven't you been slacking off?
My name is Vivian. After graduating from nursing school and starting to work as a nurse, which was my dream, I had been living a busy life. I had no luck with love and never really had a boyfriend, but I wasn't too bothered about it. I was hoping for a nice encounter someday, to date someone wonderful, taking things easy. However, it seems my parents were worried about me. Vivian, there's a son of someone I know who would be perfect for you. Want to meet him? Suddenly being told this by my dad was surprising.
What? What's this all of a sudden? Is this some kind of setup?
No. It's nothing as formal as a setup. Just going out for a meal together, the four of us. Persuaded by my dad, I ended up going to the meal. Nice to meet you. My name's Davin. The son of my father's acquaintance, Davin, was 3 years older than me and worked as a civil servant. He seemed serious, but his eyes would narrow into slits when he laughed, giving off a gentle vibe. Attracted to that vibe, I immediately took a liking to Davin. Davin seemed to like me as well, and we started going out for meals, just the two of us, eventually leading to dating. We got married about 2 years after we started dating and bought our first home at the same time. Me, who had never had a boyfriend for so long, things progressed smoothly after meeting Davin, surprising my father. He was more than surprised, he was delighted, and at the wedding, he was moved to tears. Blessed by many, we started a happy married life, living blissfully without any issues. Soon, we discovered a new life growing inside me, and I took maternity leave followed by parental leave. I gave birth to a healthy boy, our precious son, Armin, and grew healthily. Davin actively participated in childcare, helping with household chores even when he was tired from work. I was always grateful to him. Davin, thank you for always helping with the chores. It really helps.
What are you talking about? It's natural, we're a couple after all.
I truly adored Davin, showing his soft smile that I love so much as he said those words. When Armin was 1 year old, I returned to work and resumed my career as a nurse. Davin and I cooperated with dropping off and picking up from daycare, and we were able to support each other through daily life. As time passed, Armin became a high school senior. I turned 47 and Davin reached 50. Armin, I made some sandwiches for a late-night snack, if you'd like. I always brought a snack to Armin's room.
Thanks. Sandwiches tonight, huh? That's great. Looking forward to your snacks keeps me motivated to study at night.
Armin stopped his studies and thanked me with a full smile. I thought to myself how well-mannered he had grown up to be. Armin was preparing for his exams, aiming for a university in New York. If he got accepted, he would start living alone from fall, leaving this house. It would be lonely, but since it was Armin's chosen path, I decided to support him. And then came the exam day.
Well then, I'm off, Mom and Dad.
Putting on his shoes at the entrance, Armin, looking a bit nervous, energetically said goodbye.
Do your best. You'll be fine, Armin.
Take your time and read the questions carefully. Good luck. Encouraged by me and Davin, Armin nodded strongly and left for the venue. Armin successfully got accepted into his desired university.
Congratulations, Armin. It's sad to think of you leaving this house, but I'm so glad you got in. You really did great. Armin, you're a son to be proud of.
Davin and I prepared a feast to celebrate his university acceptance, and Armin looked really happy.
Thanks. It's all thanks to the two of you supporting me. I'll do my best in my studies at university.
Thus, from fall, Armin's living alone in New York was officially decided. To earn the money for Armin's living expenses, I decided to actively take on night shifts that came with extra pay. I was managing the household finances, and we had decided on a $1,000 allowance for Armin. Though I felt guilty about often leaving the house empty at night since I was a wife, I thought it was necessary for the allowance. However, Davin supported me without ever showing any displeasure. Vivian, thank you for working so hard. The plan for Armin's allowance is $1,000, right? I thought it would be tough to keep that amount every month, so it's really a big help.
I'm the one who's grateful, Davin. Your cooperation in various things has been a huge help.
With Davin actively doing the cooking and other household chores, I was able to work without worry. In the fall, Armin moved into the apartment we chose together, and we started the allowance. I transfer $1,000 to Armin's account every month. And in no time, several months passed.
Did you make sure to transfer the $1,000 to Armin this month?
You didn't forget, did you? Davin, concerned about Armin, would check with me without fail every month. Yes, I've sent it. I wouldn't forget. Relieved by my response, Davin smiled. Then, furrowing his brow, he voiced his worries.
I wonder if Armin is managing to live on his own okay.
If he's keeping up with his classes. I hope he hasn't gotten involved with any strange friends at university. It's okay. He wrote on WhatsApp that he's enjoying university life. You worry too much, Davin. Watching Davin worry so much about Armin, I found it endearing. I kept in touch with Armin regularly, and his cheerful updates reassured me. Time passed, and the season changed to winter. It was when I came home from a night shift and was changing in the bedroom as usual. I noticed an unfamiliar lip balm on the floor. Oh? Is this Davin's? That's unusual. I picked up the lip balm and examined the package closely. Davin usually didn't care about skincare products, and I had never seen him buy lip balm. It must have been the dry season that prompted him, but the design seemed more suited for a woman's taste than for men, with its slender, cute packaging. The cap was even decorated with glitter, and the product name was printed in pink letters. Feeling a bit curious, I put the lip balm in my pocket. That night, after Davin returned from work, I decided to ask him about the lip balm. "Hey Davin, is this lip balm yours?" When I asked, Davin showed a momentary look of surprise, but quickly smiled and took the lip balm from me.
Haha, yeah, that's my lip balm. I've been looking for it. Where did you find it?
In the bedroom. When I answered, Davin's eyes swam a bit. What's wrong? You seem a bit off.
What? No, haha. I was just embarrassed that buying lip balm as a man got discovered. Men don't buy lip balm, right?
Davin responded while scratching his head.
What are you talking about? It's not embarrassing at all. Plenty of men buy lip balm. But the packaging does look a bit feminine, so maybe choose something more simple next time. Oh, right. I will. I just panicked and didn't look closely when I bought it. I realized later that I picked up something a bit girly. Anyway, how about we watch a movie tonight? Remember, the movie Vivian wanted to see has just started streaming?
Though I felt a bit odd about Davin's attempt to change the subject, I had forgotten all about it once we started watching the movie. About a month had passed since then. As I was about to head home after finishing a night shift, I received a call from Armin.
Hello, Armin?
It's been a while. What's up? I greeted him cheerfully, but Armin responded with a weak voice. It's been a while. Sorry, I haven't been able to answer your calls lately. Indeed, recently, it had been hard to get through to Armin on the phone. Though I was worried, he always responded later on WhatsApp, so I wasn't overly concerned. It's okay. But you sound a bit down. What's wrong? The words that came back from Armin were unbelievable. Can you increase the allowance? $3 a month isn't enough to live on.
What? $3 a month?
My voice flipped in surprise. What did he mean by $3 a month? I was certainly sending $1,000 every month. I didn't want to tell you this since you got laid off, Mom, but living on just $3 a month is really tough.
What? Laid off?
Who was laid off? I had just finished a night shift. I couldn't make sense of the situation, confused. But it seemed Armin was just as puzzled, his bewilderment coming through the phone. Wait, Mom, you were laid off, right? So the allowance went from $1,000 to $3?
What? What are you talking about? I'm heading to your apartment right now.
Okay, I'll wait. I hung up the phone and tried to rush to the station, but my legs wouldn't move properly due to the shock. My heart was pounding, and I tried to calm myself down with deep breaths. Then, slapping my cheeks with both hands to psych myself up, I started walking to the station. Taking the bus and arriving at Armin's nearest station. I called him again to say I'd be there soon. When I rang the doorbell at Armin's apartment entrance, he soon peeked out. Welcome, Mom. Armin looked thin and pale, as if he might collapse at any moment. Armin. Seeing him like this, my heart ached, and I felt tears welling up. Inside, the heater wasn't on despite the cold. You haven't turned on the heater. You'll catch a cold, let's turn it on.
No, we can't. It costs too much. I'm getting by with just a blanket.
Armin shivered as he spoke, and I quietly told him. Listen, Armin, I've been sending you $1,000 every month since fall.
and I haven't been laid off. What? But only $3 has been deposited each month. I'm not lying. That's why I called you, Mom. I've been desperately working part-time, but with university studies and being busy every day, I thought I reached my limit and called you.
I didn't think Armin was lying. He's not the kind to make up such things. And seeing how thin he's gotten and his living conditions without even the heater on, it must be true that only $3 has been deposited.
I'm not doubting you, but we need to figure out what's going on. Can you show me your bank book?
Okay, wait a moment. Armin retrieved his neatly kept bank book from a shelf in the corner of his tidy room and showed it to me. Indeed, just as Armin had said, only $3 had been deposited each month.
I'm sorry, Armin, but I definitely transferred $1,000.
What could have happened?
For now, I'm going to withdraw some money from a nearby ATM.
Saying that, I immediately withdrew a substantial amount of money from the ATM and returned to Armin's apartment.
Armin, please take this money for now. Until we figure out why this happened, I'll bring you the money in person from next month.
Is it really okay to give me so much?
Thank you, Mom.
I didn't want to worry you, so I've always pretended to be cheerful when you contacted me. But I'm glad I told you the truth today. Armin smiled with his thin face, and my heart ached at his bravery. It's unthinkable for something like this to happen. Could it be? But for now, more than anything, I'm worried about Armin's health.
Thank you for calling, Armin. Make sure to use the heater properly from now on. And I'm going to the supermarket now. I'll make you lots of your favorite hamburgers and curry. Really?
Armin's eyes sparkled. Then I went to the supermarket, bought ingredients, returned to the apartment, and cooked a lot of food. Armin ate, saying how delicious it was. I also froze what could be saved, so he wouldn't have to worry about food for a while.
All right, I'll come to give you your allowance again next month.
Saying that, I left Armin's apartment. The weekend, a month later. When Davin came home from work, he confronted me with a demonic expression without even saying hello.
Hey! Today is the day for Armin's allowance, right? Haven't you been slacking off?
What?
I just handed the allowance to Armin directly today.
Is there a problem?
What's with the sudden outburst?
When I responded, Davin looked confused.
And?
Then, that's fine, he said and went to change clothes in the bedroom. After changing into his loungewear and coming back to the living room, I immediately questioned him.
Why did you think the allowance hadn't been sent yet? Well, that's because it's payday and the day to send Armin's allowance, but Vivian didn't report it. So I was just a little concerned. Let's end this conversation.
Davin, angry and trying to quickly end the conversation, was definitely acting strangely.
Then I have another question. What now?
Davin raised his voice in annoyance.
Remember the lip balm found in the bedroom? You said you bought it, but was it actually from someone you're having an affair with? No! That's not it at all!
Davin immediately denied loudly. Continuing.
That lip balm is mine! I bought it! Don't make me repeat the same thing! You're acting strange today!
He said, yelling.
You're the strange one, not me. You're usually calm, but you're acting weird today.
I countered, and Davin raised his voice in denial.
I'm not strange. I'm doing fine. Really? Well, I knew something like this would happen today. That's why I invited some guests over. People you know very well.
I said and opened the door to the room we use for guests. Everyone, thank you for waiting. Please come this way. As I called out, 3 people appeared in front of Davin.
Nadia! And Dad and Mom too!
Davin was evidently shocked, his eyes widening as much as possible. The woman called Nadia muttered with a displeased tone,
"Ugh, this is the worst,"
and sat down at the dining table with an arrogant attitude. The in-laws glared at Davin, whose face turned pale immediately. Flashback to 3 weeks earlier. I consulted my father-in-law, a former bank employee, about why only $3 was being deposited into Armin's account. He immediately investigated, and it turned out there were 2 accounts under Armin's name. Davin was the one who went to open Armin's account. Though I said I would do it, Davin insisted.
"Let me handle it,"
and took the initiative. According to the bank staff, Davin had opened 2 accounts under Armin's name, claiming one for living expenses and the other for tuition. The card and bank book for the account I was depositing $1,000 into each month were in Davin's possession. Davin had persuaded Armin.
"I'll manage one of the accounts for you, so I'll keep the card and bank book,"
he said, somewhat forcibly taking the card and bank book. And so, Davin was withdrawing the $1,000 I transferred every month. To make it seem like he was still providing support, he deposited $3 into the account Armin had. Knowing the truth, I felt a surge of anger and wondered what Davin was doing with the $1,000 each month. That's when I remembered the cute packaged lip balm I had found in the bedroom before. Deciding to act, I hired a detective to investigate Davin's actions. The investigation revealed, as expected, that Davin was having an affair. The other woman's name was Nadia, and she was one of Davin's subordinates. Davin had been frequently bringing Nadia to our home while I was on night shifts. With the evidence gathered, today I called Nadia, along with my in-laws, to confront Davin about his infidelity.
"Davin, I think you're aware by now, but all your misdeeds have been exposed,"
I said coldly, causing Davin's already pale face to turn even paler, his lips trembling slightly.
"So, the $1,000 I was transferring for Armin, you've been giving it all to Nadia, right?"
Despicable.
"According to the detective's investigation, you've been buying expensive necklaces from brand stores for Nadia.
What in the world are you doing?" As I confronted him, Davin snapped back.
"It's not just that. I didn't spend all $1,000 on gifts. Nadia's mother has been sick. She's been hospitalized for a long time with a serious condition. I was helping out with her medical expenses. I was just trying to help people."
Davin seems to claim this. Nadia, is that true? Was your mother really sick? Remember, lying will only make things worse later. Please tell us the truth. When I asked Nadia, she sulked for a while before responding. It's a lie. Obviously, it's a lie. My mother is healthy and working in the fields back home. The sickness was a lie.
"What? You lied to me. Don't mess with me. How much money do you think I've given you?"
Davin yelled, furious. However, Nadia, unfazed and mockingly laughing, said,
"Huh. It's your fault for being deceived. Ah, I thought I found a good cash cow. Time's up, I guess. I was hoping to milk it for a few more years, but what a miscalculation. Cash cow. You said you loved me, was that also a lie? Hey, your feelings for me were real, right? You love me, don't you?"
Davin, in his anger and confusion, seemed to forget that I and his parents were present. I wish I hadn't had to see my husband like this. Seeing Davin cling to a younger woman was disgraceful and nauseating. I felt like vomiting but managed to hold it back.
"Look, Why would a young and cute girl like me seriously fall for an old man like Davin? Ridiculous. How much worth do you think you have? Take a good look at yourself in the mirror.
Nadia laughed heartily. Though what Nadia said was true, her sheer audacity angered me.
So, that's how it is.
Davin was stunned, and I thrust 3 documents at him. One was the bank transaction history, the second was evidence of the affair, and the third was divorce papers.
Divorce papers? Are we getting divorced?
Davin was fixated on the third document, the divorce papers, without even looking at the first 2.
Of course. Why should I continue to be married to a scum who spends his son's allowance on his mistress? Well, I didn't intend to get divorced. I mean, it's a separate issue.
Davin's ridiculous excuses made me snap, and I yelled at him.
You didn't intend to get divorced, but you cheated. And what you did to Armin is unforgivable. Is this how a parent acts? $3 a month isn't enough to live on. Armin has been working hard, saving every penny, getting thinner, not even using the heater. You're the worst. Just sign the divorce papers now. Well, I do feel bad for Armin, but I heard Nadia's mother was sick, and Nadia herself kept asking for things, so I really needed the money.
Davin rambled on with excuses. My father-in-law suddenly struck him hard.
Ah!
Davin let out a short scream and fell. Simultaneously, my father-in-law said,
Idiot!
Angry shouts filled the air.
You are truly a foolish and despicable son. Just sign the divorce papers like Vivian said, now.
Ugh. Davin was dumbstruck, and I sternly told him.
Also, obviously, I'll be demanding compensation. The money you embezzled will, of course, be added on top. Compensation!
Davin's eyes widened in shock, letting out a strange noise.
I'll be demanding compensation from Nadia as well, so be prepared for that.
When I addressed Nadia, her face turned pale, and she started yelling.
Wait a minute! Why me? I won't pay any compensation.
Why?
Because you had an affair with a married man. I have the right to demand compensation from you. Please make sure to pay it.
As I responded with disdain, Nadia glared at Davin and said,
Davin should pay for me. I don't have any money. I spend all my salary on cosmetics, clothes, and bags every month. I have 0 savings. Don't be ridiculous. I don't have any money either. You've taken everything from me. If I hadn't been deceived by you, none of this would have happened. You're a devil.
As they began their ugly fight, Davin suddenly turned to me, pleading. Look, Vivian, please. Spare me the compensation. I'll concede to the divorce. I'll agree to it, so could you please not demand compensation? Please. I really don't have any money. Look at me. Haven't we supported each other a lot until now? Seeing Davin beg with tears in his eyes brought up nothing but disgust. My love for Davin had completely vanished when I learned he was squandering Armin's allowance on his mistress.
If you keep this up, I'll double the compensation amount. Just sign the divorce papers now. I'll formally demand the compensation later.
With that firm statement, Davin seemed to realize my mind was made up and signed the divorce papers. I've signed. Is this okay? Davin said in a lifeless voice as he handed me the divorce papers. Yes, thank you. Now, would you please leave this house?
Eh?
Davin sounded foolish.
It's obvious, isn't it? We're getting divorced. We can't live together anymore. You, being the guilty spouse, should leave. Now, get out, both of you!
I yelled and drove Davin and Nadia out. My in-laws repeatedly apologized.
We're so sorry for our foolish son.
But they weren't at fault. I was truly grateful to my father-in-law for uncovering Davin's wrongdoing. After thanking my in-laws sincerely and seeing them off, I immediately went to the city hall to submit the divorce papers. That marked the end of my marriage to Davin. Later, I hired a lawyer and demanded compensation from Davin and Nadia. Despite being public servants, they had been openly dating, and there had been rumors of their affair for a while. The compensation demand put a mental strain on them, leading to repeated mistakes at work. They were moved to a department with less responsibility, faced with disdain due to the rumors of their affair, and Nadia ended up resigning voluntarily. Davin was disowned by his parents and led a difficult life in a cheap apartment while paying me compensation. Nadia had her parents pay off the compensation, but as a result, was called back to her rural home. She ended up helping with farm work under her parents' strict supervision. I received a call from Nadia's parents apologizing earnestly and learned of her current situation. They assured me they'd keep a close eye on Nadia to prevent any more wrongdoing. Eventually, I sold my home and moved closer to Armin's apartment. We often meet and update each other on our lives. I informed Armin of the divorce the day it happened. Davin had lied to Armin, claiming I was fired and could only send $3 a month. Armin was shocked to learn the truth from me. That can't be. Was it a mistake? Dad was always so kind. Hearing Armin's tremulous voice pained me. Indeed, Davin had been a kind husband and father. But everything changed once he started the affair. Thinking back to our happy family life hurts, but I can't dwell on the past. I must move forward. Armin gradually recovered from the shock and eventually regained his cheerful demeanor. Time passed, and Armin graduated from university. He secured a job at a renowned company, marking the end of my parenting duties. I continue to work hard as a nurse and will keep doing so as long as my health allows. My in-laws, who sent their congratulations for Armin's graduation, and I maintain a good relationship, leading a fulfilling life both personally and professionally.